the late 1980s, and my great-grandma Smith passed away. She's my great-grandma on my father's side, so that means that we're headed to Detroit. We drive to Detroit, we're in the funeral home, and there's flowers all over the place, and there's a giant picture of my great-grandma Smith. She didn't smile a lot, rarely smiled actually, and the picture, this giant picture, captured her as she was in life. She was wearing glasses, and she had somewhat of a scowl on her face. She's the woman who actually raised my dad. He wasn't raised by his mother, he was raised by his grandmother. So she was loved in the family, and the room started to fill up. We got there early, my brother and I and my mom and my dad. And we're all dressed up, and family starts rolling in, and there's people I've seen and there's people I've never seen in my life, and the pews just get full. It's filled up, and there's chatter, and there's big hats, and there's women wearing bright colors and lacy gloves, and then there's the casket with my great-grandma Smith in it. And I'm horrified. I'm horrified of death. Always have been. It's a scary thing to me because it's something that's unavoidable. And from a young age, I was just like, damn it, there has to be a way out of this. There has to be a way out of this. But there's not. There's not, and I know that. And it just messes with me. So I'm dealing with this phobia, and I'm dealing with this sadness, because my great-grandma Smith, she might have never smiled, but she was a great woman, and she raised my dad, and I adore my dad. I adore my dad. Anyone who knows me knows that I adore my dad. So it starts up, and it's quiet, just like now. And everyone's very serious because it's a funeral, and you should be serious. And my heart starts pumping, beating fast, and I'm looking at the body. I can see the body. And I see that, oh, she's wearing a hat. Interesting. It's a hat. Okay. And then this old woman who had a lot of energy, she stands up and she goes, so young! And she starts crying and she's moving towards the casket. And I see my dad. My dad jumps up and he goes to this woman and he lets her lean on the shoulder, and she goes up to the casket, and it's kind of a beautiful moment, but she keeps yelling, so young, so young. My great-grandma was 89. And something about that started digging into me, and I'm like, And my brother, who's older than me, he's 4.5 years older than me, he looks at me like, motherfucker, what are you doing? And I'm just like, And I just start shaking my head like, oh, no. Because this is the woman who raised my father who I love and adore. I will be respectful. And I just look at the body, and I try to get back into the moment. This is death. You're afraid of it. I settle in. So young. Can't do it. My cousins, Melanie and Scotty, start looking at me. I'm like. So it's Detroit. We're in Detroit, and everybody gets a chance to go up to the casket and kind of say your goodbyes. And it's our turn. And the so young is just ringing in my head. It's ringing in my head. So my brother and I get up there together, and by this time my brother's starting to chuckle too. So we're walking up, but we're shaking our heads, just oh no. And we kneel, because they give you this, it's like a leather padded little stool, but it's long, and you can kneel and give your goddamn respect to the woman that raised your father. So you kneel at that casket. I look at my great-grandma Smith. I'm saying my goodbyes to this woman who raised my father. And I'm looking at her, and I notice, like, oh, it's not so scary. Something's happening to me. I'm not horrified of it. And I start looking at her, and they put these gloves on her, these lacy gloves, and I'm looking at the hat, and then I notice that her fucking glasses, they put the glasses on her head, and I'm like, no, this is becoming funny to me. I'm a horrible child. I'm a horrible human being, and this fucking woman won't shut up with the so young. And I look at my brother, and he looks at me, and we lose it. We start laughing so loud, and we're right there, and everyone's looking at us, and we cannot stop. And we put like a hand on her shoulder, and we're just like, oh my God, what's happening? And we're laughing, and I'm waiting for my dad to come through with his large hands and just snatch me up and pull me in the back, but it doesn't happen. And I realized in that moment, holy shit, they think that we're crying. They think that these young men, these respectful young men, so young, so young, are missing their great-grandmother who raised their father, their amazing father. It's uncontrollable, and it's a beautiful thing. Look at these young boys, so in touch with their feelings. And we're just like, fucking shit, I can't stop laughing. Thank you. So we get up, and we walk back, and when I laugh, I cry. So when I laugh, I mean, I start crying. It's just, the harder I laugh, the more the tears are. And my mom looks at me, and she gives me like she's proud of me. Like she's proud of me. And I realize, like, oh my God, for this moment, I kind of beat my phobia. And then I look at my father, Ben Williams, and he looks at me. We make eye contact, and I know in that moment, he knows I was fucking laughing. He knows. Thank you.